is Gwinnett Wright.
And I'm Deontay B.
And welcome to Gwen's Business Corner with Deontay B. Merry, Merry Christmas.
I know.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, look at you.
Girl, you know, I don't like Christmas. I feel like a little Santa this year, girl.
You didn't sound like Scrooge this year. You was in the Christmas spirit.
You heard me singing Merry Christmas.
Because you know it is my favorite time of year.
Yeah, girl,
like,
you love Christmas.
I love Christmas. I like to dress a lot.
What y'all wearing tomorrow?
Oh, you know we're going to wear pajamas and the ugly sweaters. We have a pajama jam.
Girl, okay, whatever. Yeah, it's Christmas. It's almost time for the new year.
It is.
And this is actually our last show for 2019.
It is, and it has been a great run.
Oh, we had a great run. Do you understand me? I'm so excited. But get what? We ain't off but a week. We'll be back the first week in January on Fox 54.
Yes, and I mean, it's so exciting because 2020, we get ready to go and kick the door in. And I know you just were saying 20 plus 20 equals 40. I'm going to be 40 and fabulous. So, you know, I'm excited about today's show because when you think about kicking the door in for 2020, you have to think about picturing self-imperfection. And, you know, when you talk about that, you know, you try to get everything to perfection, but sometimes you're going to have those imperfections. You know what I mean? And you just have to picture that, and you have to know that you're going to go through something when you're going in 2020, especially if you talk about being successful.
Right. And I'm excited about this show. One, because we have a photographer on the show, which going into 2020, you people, I think a lot of us professionals need to go get us some pics, okay? Get us some headshots and get us just a couple of photo shoots. Now, don't spend too much money, but get us some photo shoots and some pics. So right. I'm excited about that, but I'm going to tell you why I'm really excited. Because we have not had a show where we talk about love and business.
Right. And
two of the guests on this show is actually walking in there in two different ways. So I'm actually excited about getting to that topic. So who we got?
Well, we have the Reva Stout. She is on season 2 of the hit show on Ready to Love.
Okay.
And she also is a spa owner, Reverie Spa. And I mean, you know, we love to get into all the spa things because, I mean, the aroma in the spa. I just think about it. 2020, that's going to be my thing. So I can't wait to hear what she has to talk about.
Okay, and then we have the photographer, Mr. Duane Jones. He's an award-winning photographer at that. And then we have Mrs. T. Marie. She's a radio personality. And then she got this book called, or this movement called No Boyfriend. You know, I'm trying to figure out what she's talking about. Okay, so let's get this thing started. Merry Christmas. Come on, Reva.
Okay, Happy New Year.
Hey, lady.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi. So glad to
you're
be
so
here.
loving. Okay,
Thank you guys. Hey, sister love, honey.
I love it. I love
I'm
it.
so glad to be here.
Corner.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
You ready for Christmas?
I am. My favorite time of the year.
Okay.
My birthday is New Year's Day, so I'm always in the Christmas spirit. I will be 44.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
so
we
excited.
talking about
Fabulous.
Thank you,
these
baby.
40s is something serious, baby. I turned 41 a couple of weeks ago. So
I'm
yes, girl.
coming through. Fabulous. Right.
Okay, so let's jump in and let's first talk about your spa. What was the inspiration behind starting a spa?
Okay, so when I was in the military, I'm retired Navy.
Oh,
so
wow.
I've been retired for about 5 years now.
Okay.
20 years, 2 months, 3 days. But while I was in, we did this, put together this thing for homeless women. And it was all about making them feel good about themselves and pampering them. And you know what I mean? And this just made me feel amazing, to make them feel amazing, to give back. So I said, when I retired, that was something that I wanted to do. So, and it also became a passion of my daughter's. Like, she went and got her master's esthetician license. And so she kind of runs the spa a lot for me or whatever. But yeah, I'm just in the business of making people feel good about themselves and self-care. I know how it feels. You know what I mean? So I want to do that for others.
I know you can't judge a book by its cover, but I would just never have imagined that you would retire from the military.
Right.
Yes, I did.
You was a soldier, girl.
I am.
Yes. So what services do you provide with your spa? Because I know it says it means to daydream.
Yes.
So when I think about daydreaming in the spa, I know what my mind tells me, but I want you to tell us, like, what are some of the services?
Yeah, so that is what Reverie means, to escape from reality, to daydream.
Okay.
And we offer, of course, facials, peels, detox, full bodies, like everything. Anything that has to do with aesthetics, we have it. We have it.
She said foot. Ain't too many people saying that about the foot.
That's important.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I might
Get them toxins out of there.
Yes, girl. I think I might need to get mine.
She didn't get her feet.
Yeah, you know, we get all my feet be hurting. I'm like, I need to go put this one and do something.
Maybe what?
I need to switch it, okay? So, okay, let's talk about you being on this show, okay?
Okay.
So we had other guests that have been on this show, and we have now had the opportunity to get real deep into you actually being on this show. So you are on season 2, a reality show, Ready to Love.
Yes.
So let's talk about one, because Dee always wanted me to be on one of those shows. And I was like, girl, don't submit me for them one of those shows. So what was it like being on the show? Like, what did you do to prepare yourself to be on the show? Because a lot of women out here who wants to be on these types of shows to find love. So what did you do?
Listen, I wasn't prepared.
Oh, wow.
I was not. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting. And the way it happened was really crazy. I had about 6 people send me the flyer, to, submit a app. And they was like, this will be great for you. This will be good. You've been divorced for almost 12 years. Whatever you doing clearly ain't working. And, these are my friends, right?
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm not doing that. I liked the post, and it just so happens that it was on Courtney's page from last season.
Mm.
So Courtney hit me, and she was just like, girl, are you considering this would be great for you? And I was like, yeah, no, I've never even done online dating. That's, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then another girlfriend was like, well, let's just all submit. It was about 5 of us in a group chat, and, for shits and giggles and see what happens. And I was just like, so that gave me, I was like, okay, whatever. I was the only one that got picked. And then even during the process, because it was different stages you had to get to, I still was like, girl, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm glad that I did step out of my box. I learned so much about myself. It was challenging, because, it's not often that I know I've never been in a situation where, you have a guy that you may be interested in, and he may be interested in her and her too. How do you know what I mean? And I'm not competitive when it comes to love. I am in anything else, but you don't compete for love. So it was kind of hard to, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of be like, hey, I'm here. But then at the same time, like, I'm a prize. What you thought? But then you have to think about the journey and why you're here. And it's to get to know these men and for them to get to know you. So I did have a hard time putting my walls down and just kind of being transparent initially, But I will say this, it is very possible to find love on a reality TV show. A lot of people are like, and I didn't think so either, but it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So tell me this. When you talk about being ready for love, because like you're a businesswoman,
yes.
And so often, like we talk about this all the time, when you're a successful woman, it makes it even harder to find love. So tell me this, like as far as you trying to find a significant other that can deal, how hard is it to find a significant other that can deal with you being a businesswoman and you having so many things, places you have to be, because so many men, they can't understand, like they need that time. So how was that connection?
Well, actually the men that I am drawn to, they have the same drive and ambition. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, I'm an alpha female. Right.
We talk about that.
I definitely am. I mean, but I know how to be submissive to my man. You know what I mean? So I feel like if it's somebody and you feel like you can build an empire together and y'all on the same page and y'all equally yoked, then it's, you know what I mean? But it's those men that you come across that can't accept you and what you have going on and all of you, they're just not for you. That's how I look at it.
Well, yeah, I guess that's a good way to
Right.
look at it. So, you've been a businesswoman a businesswoman and married. They say married for 11 years and divorced for 11
I've been divorced for almost 12, but I was married for 11.
Oh, wow.
That's when my children's daddies came.
All right. So you have it on both perspectives then. This will be good because you was actually in the military and married, and then you're actually a woman out here dating. So what advice would you give someone who is looking for a balance when it comes to being either working, the type of schedule you had and being in the military, and also being an entrepreneur? Like, what type of balance would you give? Advice you would give to?
Okay, so I know. Well, before I struggled with this, being young and in the military and a family, I have 3 children, right? And now 2.5 grandchildren. I have another one on the way. But being in the military, it took me a minute to get it together because, of course, my family is my priority. But then at the end of the day, the military is your priority. You don't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? But I had to stay on my knees a lot of prayer. You know, I needed God. I'm not going to lie. I was like, So, but once I got the hang of that, so I think it's the same concept like now, you know what I mean? You have to pray. I need strength. I need guidance. I need you to order my steps because I can't do it by myself. I will go crazy. But it's a matter of how bad you want it also. You know what I mean? Right. So for me, it's my ambition and I don't care what it is. If I want it, I'll make it happen.
I love that.
Yeah.
Y'all better understand it's prayer.
I'm trying to told you.
Yes. So what are some of the challenges that you face? Because, you start out, of course, you have the spa, you're a business owner. And then now you go from being a business owner to a business owner in the public eye because, everything changes once people identify and see you on television.
Absolutely.
So what has been some of the challenges in that transition from people knowing you as a businesswoman and now knowing you as a public figure and a businesswoman?
Well, a lot of people were like, we didn't know that you had a spa. Like, when did you do this? When did you, and they want to know my story too, how it came about.
Right.
But business has picked up tremendously.
Right.
And then what I also do, I literally go out on the street and I actually look for homeless women and I bring them in and I pamper them and make them feel good about themselves. So for me, that's the rewarding thing. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what I set out to do in the first place.
Right.
So, yeah.
You gotta give. Yeah. It's all about giving. And life is not about us. It's about everybody else.
Absolutely. Right. And that's how you get your blessings.
That's how we live life on purpose. So before we get ready to go, we want to talk to you all day. But tell the viewers how they can find you.
Okay, so Reverie Spa is at 2531 Piedmont area. Come see us.
Yes.
Thank you so
much. Ladies, thank you. Thank you. All right, ladies.
Amazing.
I just love the conversation just because we don't talk about it enough.
Right.
Being married, trying to date, being just working and being an entrepreneur is always challenging. So I definitely enjoyed the conversation. So let's talk about these photos, okay?
Yeah.
So we have Mr. Duane Jones, award-winning.
Come on down.
Let me get my hands.
Oh, thank you.
I love the love.
Yes.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Right.
And I was thinking, everybody don't used to celebrate Christmas. I'm up here, Merry Christmas. So let's jump into it. So you are a photographer.
Yes.
You have wrote a book and you do a whole lot of other things.
That I do.
So let's talk about photography because that's your first love. That's what your baby. Mm-hmm. So tell us, how did you get into it and what inspired you to take it and become an expert in it?
Well, I have the whole, I'm a creative. So I just love just making things out of nothing and I'm a people pleaser. So I like to make people happy. So I did photography in high school. I loved the class. And then I stopped. I'm from the north, from Ohio. So once I got to the south for school, it was like a whole new world. So I always had those little Walmart, little $5 look. And I was taking them everywhere. I was taking pictures of everything like it was a whole new world from being from the north to the south. And then I let it go. I transferred to colleges. And then my girlfriend at the time, she was like, you always talk about taking pictures. And you don't never take none of me. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So we did a little photo shoot. And then a week later, I told my mom, I was like, yo, take a look at these pictures. She's like, you need to do that for real. So that was like my confirmation.
Right.
It was like the action and the confirmation. And then like a week later, I went out and bought all this camera equipment, and almost 15 years later, we're here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So let's go back when you first started out. What were some of the challenges that you faced in the beginning stages as a photographer trying to get people to buy into your craft?
I mean, the same struggles of Black men would have in any other business will be the same struggles that I had as far as being a photographer. It was, man, can I trust this dude? Is he gonna do what he says? Is there any harm or anything I have to worry about being, especially as a photographer, because you can get a stigma as a photographer real fast. And I was happy that I started photography married. So that took away a lot of the pressure of doing. So there's just certain photo shoots that I just never did because it was like I would rather come home and not have my wife like, oh, you gotta worry about you taking pictures of somebody all greased up on the couch. That wasn't ever my really thing. My thing was just, senior pictures, families, weddings. I love doing anything involving teens. So my avenue was set, and then I just became this fashion photographer, and that's what I'm known for.
Okay, so you didn't just say, I want to be a photographer. You decided to find you a niche with your photography by creating the Majority Greek magazine. So tell us a little about that and what stuff did you take to get into that?
Well, I'm my degree's in business, marketing, and then I had, roughly about 17 years experience in marketing in between high school, regular jobs, and being a finance manager and so forth. So once I got into photography, it was an easy transition to kind of work and kind of see what I need to do. And, when times got hard, it was kind of like, well, my degree's in business. I know how to maneuver the business because my degree's in business. So I got to Atlanta area and worked with some wonderful magazines, Empower magazines, some other little smaller magazines. And I was like, man, I've been in fraternity for 20 years and there is no magazine that caters specifically towards these people. And these people are leaders in their community. They're everywhere. They're doing big things. They stick together. They love, the public eye. So it just made sense. So I researched it for about 2 years before I pulled the trigger on it. And then I pulled the trigger, earlier this year, and it's been going since then.
Wow. I think that's unique, especially for the Greeks, because, they love to be seen.
A little bit. But I think more so the main reason why I started is because, you have that vanity part to it where, and that's more on the sorority side. But from the outside looking in, all we see on the news is people hazing, people getting beat, people dying and all that. And that's really not what we do. So when you come down to the real deal, your favorite teacher, your favorite doctor, your favorite lawyer, your favorite politician, these are members of the fraternities and sororities, and that's the light that we wanted to bring with the magazine. We wanted to show hey, the school days stuff we seen back in the 90s when it was like, oh, that was it was prominent and it was something special to be a member. We wanted to kind of bring that back, and we wanted to show that, hey, man, this person, this doctor, this lawyer, this judge, this teacher, they're all members of the organizations, and we can shine some light that way. So it's not just about all that crazy stuff and all the funny stuff and the partying, but it's more about the point in the service.
I love it.
It's amazing. So what was the inspiration? Because you have Baby Dolls Against Breast Cancer, and you also have Fit Kid Fresh.
Right.
So what was the inspiration behind those two organizations to bring awareness?
Okay, so again, I'm known for fashion.
Right.
So what can I do? Cancer just sucks. What can I do with my talents and my influence to kind of bring some awareness to that and do something cool? So I kind of incorporated like a life-size baby doll box. And then everybody would come dressed up as their favorite kind of interpretation of a baby doll, jump in the box and we take a picture.
Wow.
But then those monies would go to, to a nonprofit organization that supported cancer.
Okay.
So we did that. We did that February, and then we did it again, a few months ago. And we built the whole set now, so it wasn't just a Barbie doll box, but a set, and everybody, it was really, really great. But it was just, I've lost, 3 of my grandparents to cancer.
Wow.
Lung cancer, colon cancer, and so forth. So it was kind of like, how can I do what I can to kind of push that movement forward and then help other nonprofits do that? And that was the first one for Baby Dolls Against Cancer. Fit Kid Fresh was just in my zone.
Okay.
I just love kids. So again, we're gonna have a monthly photo shoot. The kids can come dressed up with little themes and all that, so they're looking all cute. We did like nerds and we did superheroes, and we have all these kids coming in together. These parents that want their kids to model or want them to act. We put them all together in one room, and now they can kind of network. Hey, what do you got going on? Oh yeah, you can go to this group or this Facebook group, or I'm going to this casting call. So now they can network as a group, but also it's going to ultimately grow into a nonprofit as well, where we can start mentoring. Like my ministry, I feel, is teen boys. African American boys at that. You know, because hey, some of the mistakes I made as a young kid or as a teenager or especially a college kid were, man, you need to worry about your dressing. You need to work. What do you do in police situations? What do you do? How do you tie that bow tie? How can we talk about, table etiquette, dating, and we talked about dating a little bit. How can we date? You know what I'm saying? Because we age well.
Right.
All of us are, I'll be 42 years old in a couple months. So it's how do we deal with all those things that come with being an African American man? And then we'll have other groups, how we deal with being a girl, how you deal with being a young man and all that stuff. So I can build upon that, but I'm doing it in the most passive way I can do it. It's not aggressive. It's, hey, come to the group. Right. Hey, how your grades doing? Oh, hey, tell them, send little Billy over. We can do some things. We'll do some after school stuff. We'll do some community service stuff with them as we build the program. So those are why those two came to pass.
Now, this is why I'm loving you as a photographer.
Right.
And maybe you can get insight to other photographers because you took your craft and you figured out how to find different niches that fit your purpose, where you can give back in service. Plus, you found a niche that, like you said, photography right now is just, everything is saturated. Photography, graphic design, everything we do, everything is saturated. But in this time, it's important that you find different niches that, of course, a lot of people may not be doing in order to make you stand out. Right. So talk about a little bit about why is that important for some of the photographers and what made you get into knowing to do those specific things?
That's just anything in entrepreneurship. I mean, you just have to be different. Again, there's a million photographers. It's probably 2,845 photographers in the metro Atlanta area. What makes me different? To me, having a degree in business makes me different. Because when all else fails, when it comes down to talent, that's subjective. You might like my pictures, you might not like my pictures, and we could be in the same room, but everybody in this room could be like, oh, I don't like it, or I do like it, but that's just your preference. So what makes me different? Service is one. I'm gonna be a goofball. We're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be silly, laughing, giggle. We're gonna go home, and it's just gonna be like, oh, that was cool. Two, quality, obviously. But yeah, if it wasn't for my business degree and just like I said, I want to make people happy. And then it's like, just that family gene, that blessing and the curses I always say is that, I'm like a confidant. So like a little counselor. So people come in, want to do a photo shoot, next thing you know, oh, my husband, my daughter, my kids. And so you're counseling within that as well. And it's just a way you kind of make people happy. And then they have something that's going to last forever. And that's probably the best part about photography. And people are starting to devalue that because we got cell phones. Everybody got a phone, and it's easier to get into an industry because you get to buy a camera, and the camera will do a good portion of the job. But when it comes down to the pure talent level of knowing that when you hire a professional, like these are things that will never go away. Your wedding, you want to hire cousin Jimmy to do your wedding pictures for $300 because you didn't want to pay $1,000. Okay, that's cool, but remember, you have to live with those pictures for the rest of your life. That's a big, big difference when you talk about hiring a professional as opposed to hiring your cousin. Oh, I know my uncle's cousin, brother, he take pictures. And we say they take pictures, then that's a whole little different ball game as opposed to a photographer that's been in it nearly 15 years.
Right. I love that.
Yes. Service, that's what it's all about.
Right.
So what advice would you give someone that's seeking to turn their hobby into a business? Because you've been in this for 15 years and, like we just said, some people might pick up the camera, but they don't know how to actually profit from it.
Right. Again, one, I will always say, and this goes for any business owner, any entrepreneur, and like I tell my daughter's going to graduate high school in, 6 months, right? So in May. Like, you want to be an entrepreneur, no matter what you want to do. And I tell you, I said, the reason why we making it, because when those hard times came, I had a foundation in business.
Right.
So no matter what you do, if you don't go to college, you do go to college, you still need to take some courses in business because that's where most people fail. Like I know great makeup artists, hairstylists, chefs, lawn care professionals, estheticians, spa owners. They didn't know anything about business. They just had a passion for what they did.
Right.
But they failed because they didn't have that business part of it.
Okay.
So that's one is to know business. And two is that you just can't be like everybody else. You have to figure out what sets you apart from other people. Could be your personality, could be your skill set. You could jump into a niche that nobody's in, like we're doing with the magazine, and that sets you apart. But it has to be something different, and then you just got to fight through. So I'm like, man, you know what? I haven't worked for anybody besides myself in 7 years. And sometimes I'll be like, you know what? Maybe I should go to McDonald's. It might be a little easier. I might get flip a burger. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's about serving people, and like we said, if you do good to others, then ultimately your time gotta come.
I love it.
Yes.
So let's talk about this book, The Down Entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about it and how that came.
It all flows together. What we just said is that sometimes being an entrepreneur is very complicated if you don't have the background in business. So I wanted to create a book like, we had those books that were like a Business for Dummies, a little yellow and black book. It was like, okay, you want to do. Right. So I created a book that was, it had activation points. So it's like a 31-day guide. It gives you 31 activation points. So basically a month. If you did one a month, or one a day for a month, then you would get through the whole book, and it has like notes and bullet points to tell you. And it's just simple stuff. It's not overcomplicated, but some simple, easy to use tools that you can use to kind of kickstart your business if you're down. That's why it's down, because it's like, man, everybody great when they're up. Man, you don't need no advice when you're winning. When you checks coming in, everything's all great. You don't need anybody. But when you're down, what do? Like activation point 1 is get up.
Right.
That's the hardest part about being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Is, man, I don't got to clock in at 5 in the morning or so. I can get up at noon. But this thing, if I normally get up at noon, then maybe I can get up at 12 o'clock. Get up at 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. And what I would accomplish just by getting up earlier or getting up, when you're just down and it's hard, just get up. So just things like that.
I like it. I like it.
So lastly, tell the viewers how they can find you, because everybody needs photos going into 2020.
Yes, they do.
They got to get those headshots right. They got to get that photography right. So tell them how they can keep up with you, and especially all the great things that you have going on.
Okay, I'm easy to find across all social media platforms. It's Antoinne Duane Jones, ANTOINNE DUANE Jones, and then Majority Greek. It's majoritygreek.com, Majority Greek Magazine on Facebook, and Majority Greek on Instagram.
Well, thank you so much for coming down. You gave us some good insight as a photographer.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, keep doing what you're doing, and Merry Christmas.
I appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And I just love the way that he just really found so many different niches when it came to being a photographer. Because so many people, like you say, take pictures, and a lot of people label themselves as photographers, but you can see where the business side of him, really takes place or whatever, because, nobody's doing that Greek magazine. And when you think about how to create revenue, that's an awesome way. So he gave some good nuggets. So our last guest is Mrs. T. Marie. She's a radio personality and an author. So come on, Mrs. T. Marie.
Yes.
Hey.
Come on to the corner. Welcome.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm here. But I'm blessed. I really am. I can't complain.
Yes.
So let's jump right into it.
I'm ready.
Is you ready for Christmas?
Oh my God, no. When you're a parent, I don't think you're ever ready because your kids put demands on you. You're just looking like, look, we're not there. Come on.
It's all right.
I love the holidays.
We almost there. It's almost over. We got 11 more months.
Oh,
So you are in the media, radio.
Yes.
So tell us the inspiration behind breaking into the radio industry and the steps that you took.
I always loved information. I'm a person that likes to present information and give you good information. There's so many avenues out there that you're getting junk and you know, just not good stuff that feeds your spirit. You know, I just think that there's a way to cross both, you know, get you information and feed your spirit with good stuff. So I studied mass communications in college, didn't graduate, and still had a passion for radio and print. Okay. So I went back to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, got my media certificate. I did an internship at V103, and it was from history from there. I worked there for like a year and a half as an entertainment producer for Elle Duncan. I don't know if you guys remember when she was there. Okay. And then and after that, I worked with Joyce Littell, and I like producing the information, but I like being able to present it. So after I worked there for a year, it was just time for me to go on my own. And I started It's T. Marie Radio Show. And I was able to not only create the content, but control the content as well. And so that's what I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced? Because, you know, when you were starting out, because like you said, you know, you had to intern and, you know, a lot of things go on behind the scenes that are very challenging when you talk about becoming a radio personality.
Right. So my biggest challenge probably at the time was my age. I went into radio at a later state than most people. And in the media and in the industry, people have a tendency to age you, and they think that you can only relate at a certain age group.
Right.
But I can relate across the board, kids, younger, older. And so when I first got there, I could not really let people know how old I really was.
Okay.
Thank God I don't look as old as I actually am. But that was my biggest challenge. And after I was able to get over that age gap, it was just being influential based on not being a celebrity. Now, you know, everybody's a name in Atlanta.
Right.
And just giving great information and coming across, you know, factual and credible was a big thing. So once I was able to get over the age gap and then be able to communicate with everyone, then it got better. But yeah, it was the age thing for me. Yeah.
Okay. So what would your advice be for someone who wants to get into radio, especially create their own radio platform? So we have so many people that, of course, are doing podcasts, and that's the end thing. So what advice would you give to them?
Whatever you're going to do, you have to, again, separate yourself from everyone else. You have to be passionate about it. You have to be consistent. You have to create a presence. You cannot stop. It's not something you can just think about and be like, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. Because like you said, it's saturated with podcasts. Everybody's doing it. The good part about that is there's a platform for it and everybody wants it, because traditional radio is becoming boring just with music. And now you get to create something that somebody has a special interest in. So you have to know your audience, know your niche, and know how to come across to your audience, and just be consistent in doing that.
Right.
Yeah. Consistency is the key. Yes, absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
So you seek to provide tips on fearless dating.
Yes, girl.
And falling in love.
Yes, baby.
Why do you feel that is important, especially in our community? And what are some of the tools that you use to ensure?
Okay. So I have a movement called No More Boyfriends, which actually birthed into a book called No More Boyfriends. And that actually came from a failed relationship that I thought was going to be a forever relationship. What happened in that, like most women do, we become a wife way before we're actually a wife. We give away our resources, we give away our time, our body, our whole spirit to somebody who's not even had that same level of commitment. I've seen it done too many times. I've done it myself. And so the book actually became a journal for me. So I was writing down things I could have done different, because the one thing about the tendency we have to do is to blame the other person. Even as the victim, you still play a part in the decision that you made to be in that relationship. So what the book does is actually make you accountable. You have to be accountable. You have to look at yourself first. It starts with you. You are the common denominator in everything that happens. So you have to look at yourself inward first and then project outward. How you feel will determine what you accept. You know what I'm saying? So for me, women have to understand that they, outside the cliche, they truly are a gem. They truly are a jewel, and project that and be okay with having preference and be okay with having standards. We have a tendency to think that our standards have to go down so that we can get somebody. No, there's somebody who meets your standards. Understand what that is. Move in that standard. Standards are different than like choices. You know, when I say standards, I mean don't give yourself away. Don't put things that make you happy. Don't put those on the back burners. Now I ain't talking about if you're 5, 7 and stuff like that. That's some choice. That's some things you can do differently. But your standards have to be, I need to be with somebody whoever does makes me happy, who can pour into me the things that I need. Don't substitute that just to have somebody with you. Too many times women get lost in trying to just have somebody. Okay. And you don't have to. You just get somebody. There's somebody who is fit for you. Take your time and you can get that. I promise you. I tell people you can get it. You really can.
Girl, that's so deep.
You can get it.
You can. You really can.
That's a whole show.
It really is.
That's a whole show because girl.
I know. Come on, Michelle. I got another show that's coming out. Actually called The Conversation, December 4th. It's the relationship show that I'll be starting. It talks all about relationships from sexual to getting a relationship from casual. However your day, we're having real conversation, real talk with real people about how to deal with your relationships. I feel like I owe that to our community because if we don't love each other first, right. I mean, as individuals, as a woman and man, however we're loving, then we can't project love out in our community. It starts with the way we look at each other. And so if we're looking at each other crazy and interacting with each other crazy, that's what we're going to project into our community. And that's why our community looks the way it looks sometimes from what we put out there.
I like it. So what advice would you give women who's feeling unworthy of true love, especially in the dating scene in Georgia? Because a lot of times, I can even just use myself. Right. And from this perspective, because for me, let's just use me as an example. So for me, I'm a very successful woman. I'm a very intimidating woman. And then I guess from like my past experiences, I have developed a complex of feeling unworthy. Not because I think that I'm unworthy, but because, you look at yourself, you write down everything you are, and then you like, okay, I couldn't keep nobody. Right? So what is it about me that's wrong? So what advice would you give somebody like me?
Okay, so the first advice I would give you that it's not you, honestly. And we, if you looked at the list and you, really evaluated yourself in truth, because sometimes we don't. We'll say we looked at our list and be like, girl, I looked at it and no, we really haven't checked ourselves. So after you really check yourself, you have to understand it's really not you. There are a lot of men out there with complexes, to be for real. But what we do is continue to choose those men with those complexes. What you have to stop and look at is, I'm choosing the same type of person. On purpose, you have to be like, let me do something else. On purpose, which means this has to be intentional. The same way you want to lose weight, the same way you want to purchase a car, a house, the steps that you take, you have to really be like, I need to do some things different because I am attracting the same person. And research these type of people and personalities. Research your own personality and see what sticks. But understand that we have a tendency to get a complex about ourselves because of the type of people that we choose. And it's really not you. It's the type of people that we choose or allow to choose us. So be okay with it. As soon as you see that doesn't work, no, I'm good. We're too afraid to not go through. I'm telling you, I have a rule called the rule of 21. You may have to go through 21 folks to get to that person, especially in a city like this, because there's so many people that you're dealing with and you're meeting. Going through does not mean sleeping with all 21 people. It just means when you recognize that this one don't work, go on to the next. We spend too much time, we waste too much time in places that we don't have no business.
So
yeah.
Wow. That was amazing. So I wish we could just keep talking about relationships.
Yeah, that's a good topic.
Y'all had to come on the show. We can still talk.
Okay.
Yes,
definitely. So lastly, tell the viewers how they can, because they need your book, because like going into 2020, we got to help these women find love.
Right.
Listen,
the right love.
Listen, this book right here, No More Boyfriends, really is a concept of choosing, getting the man that you want, getting the relationship you want. Okay. Because it has to start with you. I mean, literally. After you get that right? Then you start to realize, okay, this doesn't work. This is not what I want. Okay. Once you say, I don't want this, that's it. Move on to the next. So you can get my book on Amazon. You can get it at my website, which is istmarie.com. I have a book celebration coming up December 2nd.
Okay.
And so I'll put that out there. I would love for you guys to come, be my special guest, but everybody can come. You can get your books there. We're going to have conversation, dialogue, and all that stuff. And we're going to be doing some matchmaking. I'm going to be doing that too. So if you want to find a love you want in 2020, I promise you I can help you do that now.
Oh, all right. Yes.
Yes. I'm so. You see, we got real quiet. We were sucking all day. Okay, we got speechless. So you all, Miss T. Marie, we appreciate you coming down to the corner.
I appreciate you. The corner was awesome.
And y'all make sure y'all check her out. Well, we're getting ready to get out of here. But before we go, we want to make sure you know that in a couple of weeks, Expert Tax Service will be open. And we'll be doing refund advance loans starting January the 2nd. And we are a couple of days away from Christmas. And we hope that you all have a Merry, Merry Christmas. But until then, if you're looking for your girl, Gwinnetta Wright, you can find me on all social media outlets at Gwinnetta Wright. Also, make sure you follow our tax page, which is Expert Tax Service. And make sure you follow Gwen Business Corner on all social media outlets. Deontay, tell them how to find you.
Well, you can find me at all social media outlets at The Real Deontay B. And this holiday season, we want to wish you peace, love, and success. And we want you to kick 2020 in ready, fired up, and ready to go. This is Gwen's Business Corner with Deontay B. See you next time. Peace.